إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله قال الله عز وجل يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون صدق الله العظيم أما بعد. We begin by praising Allah, our Creator, and we ask Him for help in every single thing that we do. We ask for His forgiveness in all the mistakes that we've made in our lives. And we ask Allah to make us true Muslims and remain steadfast on this path of Islam. As Muslims, we declare that nobody deserves to be worshipped besides Allah. And we declare that Muhammad was the last and final prophet and messenger that has been sent for my guidance and your guidance and the guidance of all of humanity until the end of time. Brothers and sisters, text messaging today is very popular. In fact, it's such a popular phenomenon among adults, among young people, that the number of text messages that's sent per day around the world is 8.3 trillion per year. 8.3, just think about that. 8.3 trillion text messages per year are sent throughout the world. That is, USA Today estimated that the average adult, hopefully it's not you, spends 23 hours per week sending text messages. That's how much time people spend just in text messaging each other. The average millennial sends 67 text messages per day. Millennial is someone who was born after, in the 21st century, after 2000. 67 text messages per day. That's a lot of messaging going on. Another common form of communication is email. The amount of emails that are sent per day is 100 billion emails. The average worker in a company, they get or they receive 121 emails per day. And many of you can relate to this, just emailing back and forth, back and forth. Do you know what type of communication is not common anymore? Letter writing. Writing a personal letter to someone. The average household receives one personal letter in 7 weeks. And I can tell you I'm not even close to that. Probably at my household is maybe once a year, if that. Many people can relate to that. But do you know what I get on a daily basis in this masjid? I get those personal letters. I get stacks and stacks of letters every single week. And I walk in, and you can ask Sister Iman in the office, we get stacks of letters. And these letters are usually addressed in my name, Sheikh Mustafa Umar, and the organization Link Outside. And the question is, these people, they're taking time, a lot of time, to write these letters out with a pen. And actually, with their own handwriting, sometimes they put little drawings for me and little diagrams, and they color the envelope and everything. And the vast majority of these people are men, they're not women. So you say, why are they coloring the envelope? They have artistic design as well. They're writing these letters, and the question we need to ask ourselves is, why would these people, who are these people, and why would they write these so many letters and send them to our masjid? The people that I'm talking about, brothers and sisters, are the incarcerated Muslims and brothers and sisters that we have throughout the country. Every single day we receive mail just at this masjid in the name of our prison outreach program called Link Outside. And these inmates, they don't have access to text messaging. They don't have access to email for the most part unless they're in a federal prison which has email facilities. So we receive these stacks and stacks of email, and these people are writing these things out to us. What are they writing? What are they saying in those messages that they're writing to us? I can't share too many with you, but I'm going to share with you just one. This is just one random sample of a letter that I got right here mailed at this masjid. Here's the letter. I'm going to read it to you word for word with few modifications just for anonymity. My name is Jonathan I'll leave his last name out. And I am a native citizen of Ghana. I'm 20 years of age. I converted to Islam, and I'm very happy and proud to be a Muslim. I embraced Islam because I believe that there is no God but Allah. I am the only Muslim in my family. I am also the only male child and the only breadwinner for my family after the death of my father and my sister. My father's family believes in witchcraft and worshipping many gods. My grandfather was the witchcraft doctor in my community in northern Ghana. After the death of my grandfather and my father, all eyes were on me to be pronounced to the throne of witchcraft. I never believed in witchcraft, so I refused to accept it. Because I refused, my late father's family and the members of my community started torturing me. My mom advised me to leave the country to find a safe place. My mom sold her home and arranged for me to travel out of the country. I arrived in the United States to seek asylum, and I was detained because of illegal entry into the country. I've been in detention for over a year and a half. The other Muslims here in the jail, we worship together as a jama'ah. We have a lot of problems concerning Ramadan timing schedule. Sometimes we have problems praying on time and eating breakfast, the suhoor, in Ramadan before Fajr because there is no clock for us to tell the time. We're pleading to anyone that may be concerned to come visit us and present us with a copy of the Holy Quran. This is just one example of one letter that we get out of the hundreds of letters we receive each and every single year. And the thing is, these brothers and sisters of ours in prison, some of them are in there due to immigration. Some of them are in there because they have been convicted of a crime. Some of them are in there for different reasons. But what's really interesting is that the vast majority of the population, the Muslim population in prison, they are converts. They are people who did not go in there as Muslims and they found Islam in prison. Statistics estimate that about 35 to 40,000 inmates convert to Islam every single year. 35,000 to 40,000 is the estimate, and it's probably a very conservative estimate. If you look at the prison population, 15% of all people in prison in the United States of America are Muslim. 15% of the population. You know, when we look at what is the Muslim American population in America, we say, you know, we're we're a minority, people don't know us, people have never even really learned about Islam, they've never heard about the Prophet Muhammad, they've never learned about these things. When it comes to prison, people know what Islam is. When you say, I'm a Muslim, they don't ask, what's a Muslim? They know exactly what it is. Maybe not all the details, but they have an understanding. Islam is visible and it's well known in the prison population. So the question is this: how does this relate to us? How does this relate to me and you right here today? To Muslims who are not inside the prison right now, who are on the outside, who have either never been to prison or who are not in prison anymore. How does this relate to you and me? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes for us in the Quran the characteristics of the people of paradise. He talks about people who are in Jannah. And he says when these people are in Jannah, he's describing what characteristics did they have in their life that got them into Jannah. And it's important for us to analyze that and look at these characteristics, because we want to know what can get us into Jannah. We want to go to paradise. And inshallah we will. But we got to put some effort into it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Insan, He's describing the people of paradise. He describes the people of hellfire and talks about what got them into the hellfire. And then He describes the people of paradise, and He describes what got them into paradise. And one of the descriptions is, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, these people of paradise, what were they doing? They were feeding. They were feeding with food due to the love of Him, meaning the love of Allah, the miskeen, the person who's poor, the person who's in need, the yatim, the person who's the orphan, and the asir, the one who is a captive, the one who is a prisoner. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues, and He says that these people's response in life that got them into Jannah was إِنَّمَا نُطْعِمُكُمْ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ. We're only feeding you because of Allah, for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لَا نُرِيدُ مِنكُمْ جَزَاءً وَلَا شُكُورًا. We don't want any gift, we don't want any thanks, we don't need anything back from you. We did this for Allah, because it's our responsibility. We wanted the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We didn't help you in any way because we wanted something back. And that's a common problem for many people. They think about, what's in it for me in this world? What can I do? If I help these Muslim inmates, what am I going to get back directly? I need to focus on myself, I need to focus on my family. There's something more important than that. And the most important thing is the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you know, in the Muslim community, we have many organizations, alhamdulillah. And probably, we could use some more as well. But we have organizations which help those people who are orphans. If I were to ask the average Muslim, can you name any Muslim organization that helps orphans? You could probably name it. Islamic Relief and this other one and the other one. And there's quite a few of them and they do a great job, alhamdulillah. And then you say, can you help those people who are helping people in need? You say, yeah, there's Uplift, and then there's Access, and then there's Sabil Ihsan, and there's Ikna Relief, and there's, Helping Hand, and there's all these different organizations out there, and the list goes on and on. There are many organizations like that. But how many organizations do you know that you can name? How many individuals do you know? How many small little groups do you know that are actually helping the asir, the captive, that are helping the prisoner? And what's interesting is when Allama ibn Kathir actually talks about this verse in the Quran, he explains that this tafsir, that this verse was actually referring to, it's in a general sense, but it was referring to the captives of the Battle of Badr. These were the Quraysh, the people who were not Muslims, fighting against the Muslims. And after the Muslims won the Battle of Badr, they had captives with them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling them in the Quran, or is giving us the motivation, that we should even treat captives with good behavior. We should take care of them. We should give them proper food. We should make sure they're taken care of. These captives were not even Muslim. These captives were fighting against the Muslims. And that's the beauty of Islam. The Prophet ﷺ instructed the Sahaba, if you have some food with you, you're going to give the same quality of food to that captive that's with you, even though they just fought against you. You're going to take care of them. If you have some clothing, you're going to give them the same status and type of clothing with you that you have, that you're wearing, to them as well. That's how Islam treats people. Now we're talking about our Muslim brothers and sisters who accepted Islam, for the most of them, in prison. What type of responsibility do we have towards them? It's much greater than the responsibility that even is mentioned here. Much greater than the responsibility than just the captives of the Battle of Badr. So this is something we need to understand. And we need to understand that it's taking place on a very small scale, but the good news is that something is being done. And I want to tell you a little bit about our efforts, not just to advertise, but so that you have an understanding of what it takes to actually fulfill. Because we could end this khutbah and say, you know what, and remember them in your du'as and help them. And you'll be like, okay, I don't know what to do though. I have no idea what help they need. So I'm going to tell you what type of help they need, and then explain to you how we can actually get them that help, inshallah ta'ala. We have a program here in the Islamic Institute of Orange County called Link Outside. We've had this program for over 5 years now. And what we do is we try to provide spiritual, moral, and educational support to Muslim prisoners or incarcerated Muslims across the United States. We started out primarily in California, and our services reach other states as well. So what do? Our main services include prison visits. So we actually have groups that go out, and we have volunteers from the community and some employees as well, and we have them go out and visit the Muslim brothers and sisters who are in prisons. Because they don't get any visitors. They don't get, for the most part, their families have abandoned them. Especially after they became Muslim, they've abandoned them even more. They say, we don't want to have anything to do with you. So just a Muslim going and visiting their brother and sister, whom they've never seen anyone, just visiting them is one important aspect. But there's more to it than just a visit. If you're going to visit all the way over there, because usually they're in remote areas, you have to drive quite a ways, depending on which prison it is. We go and we help them provide Jummah services in jail. We have a khutbah going on here. These large numbers, large populations of Muslims in prison. They're also Muslims, they're human beings as well. They should be performing the Jummah if they're able to. And they're able to, according to state law. In fact, we help lobby to make sure that they have the right to pray Jummah. But sometimes they don't have a qualified khatib. Similar to what we have in our community. Even on the outside, we have a problem finding qualified khatibs. So we help them either by providing a khatib or by going and delivering a khutbah ourselves. We give them an Islamic lecture. Like lectures that we have in the masjid, we try and go and give them once in a while. We have guest speakers and we organize guest speakers for them. We do workshops and life workshops in terms of how they can improve themselves and how they can become better Muslims, spiritual workshops, educational workshops. So that's one type of service that we're providing. Something that is very valuable and needed for them, and something that's a responsibility for us. Number two, we have a mail correspondence program, and that's what I was telling you about. That's why we have so many letters coming through. Because we actually have a very unique program, and in fact we went to a conference in the East Coast, and we were told by all the prison chaplains who've been there for decades doing this work. They said there's not a single service, and I'm not exaggerating it, this is what they told us. There's not a single service like Link Outside when it comes to mail correspondence like this in the entire country, in fact in the entire North America, for Muslim inmates across the country. There's not a single one, let alone a local one. There's nothing. And what we do is, we answer their religious questions. So we get these letters in and they're asking basic questions about Islam. Ramadan comes. I want to know, what do I do about fasting here? What do I do? For many of us, you can walk up to your local imam and ask a question. If not, you can email them. If not, many of you have my number or Sheikh Faqih's number, you can text them and you get an answer back. Many of these people, they don't have internet access. They don't have computer access. Oftentimes, they're stuck in their own cell. They don't even get access to any type of knowledge or any type of resources. So we go and we answer their questions. We help mentor them and give them life guidance and advice on what to do. And we actually have people who are former inmates help give us input on what is the best way to advise this person, because it's a different world, it's a different context in which they live. And then we send out a quarterly newsletter. So I hope many of you are on our newsletter. You get a weekly newsletter and it tells you what's going on in the community. We are only able right now to send them a quarterly newsletter, and they read, I'm telling you right now, they read about all the events that we have at the Islamic Institute of Orange County. So you got a random inmate in Texas getting a newsletter from our organization telling us, what did Masjid Omar Farooq do the last 3 months? We had this program about elections, and we had another program about da'wah to non-Muslims. Then we had another program about whatever. We had a potluck. We just mentioned all these things, and they feel like, what? I feel like I'm part of this community, even though they're far away, because they have no other community. And they write us back and they say, this means the world to us. You have no idea what this newsletter means. Just telling us what's happening in your community, we feel like we're part of that community. Inshallah ta'ala, when we get released, this is the place we want to move. How can we move to Anaheim? They start dreaming about it. 5 years in advance, they're dreaming, how can I get to the city of Anaheim to be part of this community with my brothers and sisters? I'm not exaggerating this. Anyone who works in this program, you can ask them. This is what they really have, this feeling. This is the type of love that they have. So this is one of the other things that we do, and then we provide educational services. We provide books to them. We send them books and literature. Look, this is the type of stuff that you should read. We actually have our College of Islamic Studies program, a correspondence course where we send the course out to them. And I'm telling you, I know a few people in the community, quite a few, they say, I want to take some of your Islamic classes. We have California Islamic University. So one day I'm going to get there, and a lot of people, they try and they can't make it and all of that. Some of the people in prison, because obviously they have some time, but it's not easy. SubhanAllah, we send them the course material, they finish the whole 11-week class in 1 week, and they send it back, they send us the next class. And we grade their exams, and they're like, wow, this person passed, they did a great job actually. They're ready for the next stuff. They're ready to learn, but they don't have resources. They don't have materials. So the things that we've done since 2012, I'm going to give you a very quick list. We've spent over $5,000 and donated to have over 11 Eid banquets for Muslim prisoners in the state of California, just in the state of California. Because Eid comes, we all celebrate, we all have time with our families. Many of these inmates, they don't even get an opportunity to taste meat if they don't have halal meat in their prison. Some of them, they get halal chicken, they never have beef. They don't get red meat or something like that. This is one time in the year or 2 times in the year where we can help sponsor a banquet for them, so we do that. We've sent thousands of dollars worth of books, Islamic books and magazines and dawah pamphlets and all of that throughout the United States. We've sent over 1,000 letters to them. And these are letters that we have actually compiled, personal letters. I proofread each and every single one of them before it goes out to make sure, but I have a team working with me to help write these letters as well. We have done 50 prison visits across the state of California. We have services which have reached inmates in 15 different states around the country. We have 65 students enrolled in the College of Islamic Studies program through mail correspondence, and we've had several people accepting Islam, declaring their shahada, just when we go on a prison visit or through a letter or something like that. The thing is, the majority of these people, they accepted Islam while they were in prison. And the thing is, we need to support them, but these services actually cost money. We need employees in addition to volunteers, because we cannot be consistent with the volunteers, and they're busy and they get busy. This is something which requires a consistent effort. And if you think in the back of your mind, if you're super skeptical and you say, well, everyone pays for their services, they should be able to donate. Why aren't they donating? We donate to our community and we get services back. They should donate to their community and get services back. These are inmates. They don't generally have any money. And when they work, do you know what the minimum wage is in prison? The minimum wage, one person seems to know it, but I'm going to tell it to you anyways. Let's see if you're right. 12 cents an hour. That's the minimum wage in prison. 12 cents an hour if you're not part of the federal program. And if you're part of the federal program, you get like double. That's the minimum wage. Now imagine that. We have people who work, they work, and you know what? One inmate even sent us an entire booklet of stamps. Said, you guys do such amazing work. I wanted to donate these stamps because I appreciate what you do, so you can go and send more people these messages. Each stamp cost that guy about 3 hours of work just to donate one stamp, and he donated an entire pack. That's how much effect this type of work has. So I want to remind everyone about this important responsibility, and also to make people realize that this is an opportunity that we have. And 2 things. Number 1, visit our table outside or go to our website, linkoutside.com. The link, this is the link to the prisoners to the outside. They're on the inside. They call themselves, we're on the inside, and the people on the outside. This is their link outside to me and you and the Muslim brothers and sisters around the world. And number 2, we have a special program tonight. So I don't want to tell you too much. We have a special program tonight where we're going to have 4 Muslim former inmates that are going to be talking about their story. Each and every single one of them has served at least 9 years in prison. I really want every single person to either live stream it online or come and attend this program and just see what they have to say. See what their experience is. See how they came to Islam, and see what life was like. And see how they're now our brothers and sisters in Islam who are going to be going and presenting on this. This is my reminder for myself, reminder for you. If we do this, inshallah ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward us. We ask Allah to help us and guide us at all times. Ameen. Astaghfirullah li wa lakum wa li sa'iril muslimin fastaghfiruhu innahu huwal ghafurur rahim. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah, wa ba'd. So just to summarize what I talked about today, we talked about the number of Muslims who are in prison in the United States, and our responsibility as Muslims to take care of them, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us that we should be taking care of not only people who are in need, people who are orphans, but also the inmates or the captives, those people who don't have capacity to any other resources that we have. And one of the harsh realities is that our system, our justice system, or you could call it injustice system, whatever you want to call it, it's messed up. And it does not help the people who've committed a crime to rehabilitate. It does not help them to get off the street. So one research article, one research published by the government said that out of the 200,000 inmates that were released 75% of them re-entered prison again within 5 years. And that's with a budget, that's with a massive budget of $670 billion per year that's spent in all the justice activities out there. Something's wrong with the system. Everyone deserves a second chance, and we have to take care of our brothers and sisters wherever they are in the world and whatever circumstances they are. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us and guide us at all times. We ask Allah, oh Allah, help those people who are suffering, going through difficulty. Oh Allah, help those inmates who are incarcerated. Oh Allah, help guide those people to Islam. Oh Allah, help us to open our hearts so that we may be able to help them in whatever capacity we can. Oh Allah, increase us in our faith and let us only die in a state of true iman. Ameen. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen wa qimis salah. Please fill in the gaps and try and fill in the gaps on this side, inshallah ta'ala. There's a lot of space here.